Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Zachary Alfajri Kurniawan from class 12, batch 13, Science Boys. Today I'll be explaining about UMKM, and I will be giving it 5 example or 5 reviews about different kinds of UMKM near my hometown. But first, we got to know what is UMKM itself. UMKM stands for Usaha Mikro Kecil dan Menengah. There are many kinds of UMKM. There are more, at least 50 hundreds kinds of UMKM exist in the world. Well, at least in Indonesia, there are 50 million kinds. Well, for an example, there are chicken farms, fish farms, or even bookshops, or even and things like that. They sell stuff in the world. And another example, even a barber shop probably counts as UMKM itself. So we will be trying to find 5 UMKM around my hometown. So let's go and find out. A little disclaimer for Mr. Purnomo. I'm so sorry that while I was recording the video, that I forgot to open my microphone on in my phone, so the audio will be jump part. So I have to put another audio from another video. But I hope all of you can still enjoy the video. And yeah. Now, for the first decision, we got food is a food restaurant, an UMKM food restaurant. It's near a mall about 1 kilometer from my house. It is called Siang Malam Food Restaurant. It's a traditional restaurant with a design of a rumah gadang, or you could say a Minangkabau's traditional house. This restaurant has been up for more than 10 years, and I've been going ever since. Now, there are many kinds of food inside this restaurant that you could eat and even order online. But the most particular dish for the Siang Malam restaurant is a dish that is called soto padang. This soto padang have been ordered more than 100 times by the people around the area. So this dish is very, very popular among the people near the area. And the dish I got while making this video is not soto padang, since I don't really like uh, watery food, or you could say anything with water in it, so such as soto or sop. I am not really used to it. But the dish I'm getting on this video is called ayam pop. It's a chicken that is cooked without any flour that usually many restaurants use, such as KFC or etc. Now, for the next, and or to say the second place on our list, is one of my favorite place in my hometown. Why? Because one, I've been eating here since I was kindergarten, and this place is one of those places that you couldn't just forget about it, even when you're thinking about eating in a very great restaurant. But this place is always comes to your mind if you have been to it. The place that I'm talking about is a standard mie ayam gerobak near Tamini, or Taman Mini, you could say. It may not sound much, but this mie ayam restaurant have been around more than 20 years. It's been up since my parents got married, I guess, or even more. I don't really know much about it. But before we talk about how the food inside this restaurant contains, or what else contains other than the mie ayam, like the title of the place itself, this place has a little history that is very interesting, that you could even start making up theories about your own. This place is very old building. That's one of them, and it's not just a normal rented building, like, or just a normal buy house that turned into a restaurant. But this place used to be a kindergarten that the owner, Mr. Haji, said that he was thinking about opening a business with his special recipe of mie ayam. So he and his wife start by opening a small shop in front of their house and beside the kindergarten next to his house. Since the parents from the kids in the kindergarten also comes to pick up their child, they see this mie ayam gerobak store. They went to it, and people keeps coming up. So Mr. Haji got very successful, and this tiny gerobak mie ayam turns out to become a very successful restaurant, and this place always jam packed by people in the morning until the afternoon. You couldn't even imagine how many people went to this place just to get one singular portion of mie ayam. So the dish that I am eating here is one of the, and also the one Mr. Haji is making behind. It's called super mie ayam, or at least that is what people here called it, and my parents also call it like that. This mie ayam looks pretty ordinary, just like any kinds of noodles that you could see in the world, but it has a certain taste that you couldn't even compare this dish to any kind of other ayam noodles out there. It has that certain texture and that certain aroma that you couldn't even imagine how many kinds of mie ayam place there is just this certain aroma that you could tell that this is from that mie ayam gerobak. And also the price for one of these mie ayam is also pretty reasonable. I think it only takes about 20 rupiahs for one portion of mie ayam, and this 20 rupiahs is only for the group size, so it's very cheap for getting one portion for 20 rupiahs for eating with what, 5 people. And the one I'm eating right now is for a single portion, which only takes about 8, not if you don't count the meatballs or the ketupat or the tofu that you also order. Now, the third agenda of our agenda is an standard gerobak food, just like our previous topic. It is about mie ayam, but this place though just opened recently. I think it was about 2 years ago when I just started going into high school, and since because of the pandemic and this place doesn't really get known too much, and there aren't many kinds of things I could say about this place, just like our both of our previous topics. But one of the special trait of the place we're going to talk about is built in a place that you couldn't even imagine yourself opening this kind of store in the place that I'm talking about. The place is called Ayam Geprek Goreng. Very simple, or the title says fried geprek chicken. This gerobak restaurant opened in front of a military outpost. Could you even imagine a gerobak restaurant that being thrown away by the police officers? They opened a gerobak restaurant in front of a military outpost and also inside of a military camp. And yes, I know what you might be thinking. Is it safe? Is it allowed? Do they get thrown away just like the other gerobak restaurant? Yes, they are safe and they are allowed to open this restaurant. This gerobak restaurant already have the permission to open itself inside the military camp. Even if there aren't many kinds of dishes in this place, since the title is only ayam geprek and it's not like any others, well, there are many good ones. There are many good ayam geprek goreng in modern restaurant, but the traditional way of creating a fried chicken is very interesting to watch for me, and the way the cooker, or you say the chef, smash the chicken into bits and even forming the rice with balls, that is very satisfying to watch, and you don't see that much nowadays. And this gerobak food have been very popular after the pandemic shortened a bit, and nowadays young ones, since people really like spicy food, and I'm glad about it, and people now get to know more about this ayam geprek restaurant that is very small. It's very stranded also, and the price is for the food of this gerobak restaurant is very cheap. Well, most of gerobak restaurant are cheap, but this one, for two portion that was being created in the video, it only takes about 25 rupiahs. It is a very reasonable price, I think, or even a very reasonable one. It's very cheap. The only downside is that this place doesn't have many seats or place. So for our next place, the fourth in our agenda is not like any of our previous topic. This place that I'm going to talk about is just your typical photocopy shop. But then again, every store must have that one special thing, and that's why I'm going to put this as the fourth place of our agenda. This photocopy shop is about 20 meters from the ayam geprek goreng store that I just previously talked about, and it is located also inside the military camp. I find this pretty normal since I think every location with teenagers or even adults in it must have that one photocopy shop around their house. This photocopy shop though have been around more than 30 years and have been running ever since. The shop has been renovated multiple times. So what makes it special of special photocopy shop? As you could see in the video, I'm buying my personal things like pens, pencil, and all that stuff. And you could see the layout of the photocopy shop is very standard. There's nothing much you could see, but over the back door near the owner that is doing printouts, if you could see in the video, but over there, there's a back door that is currently been building an internet cafe, or in Indonesia you could call it warnet. This is a great way to keep visitors to come. They could hang out and also use internets, computers, or even the cafe itself to hang out with their friends, family, or even couples. Well, that won't be romantic either way, so I won't say much about it. The place is quite pricey for the stuff they sell, such as pens, pencil, drawing book, and etc. For a box of pen that have 10 pieces or more inside of it, it'll cost you about 30,000 rupiahs, and for singular pens about 1,500 rupiahs. The price might not be really reasonable, but hey, it's a great place, and overall it's even near a food shop. And finally, for our fifth place is your typical cafe or restaurant or whatever you say. You could find this anywhere. This cafe has been around since 2019, about 3 years ago, before the pandemic even started, I think. But it started being popular around early 2021. Uh, Earlier, and this is built earlier from the I'm Geprek store that I talked about previously. This cafe contains food that you might not expect to see in your regular cafe. The cafe shop is not that big as you can see on the video. It could fit around 20 until 30 people in it with more than 10 tables, so you could fill a whole family if you want to. It has a very interesting design, and for the most part of the store, it literally gives off the Eastern Asia vibes, like Chinese, Japanese, not Korean though, with all the wood and all. So I said that they have given a very Eastern vibe, and if you look at the menu, it clearly said they sell many kinds of Japanese food, from omurice, that is a type of fried rice in Japanese, or udon, a type of noodle from Japanese. That means that this cafe is not your typical cafe you find everywhere, where they only sell coffee, tea, or even smoothies, I guess, for you guys to hang out. So for one portion of the omurice, that is, it will cost you about 30,000 rupiah. I think it's pretty reasonable price for a cafe shop, and for drink, I think it's also pretty reasonable and standard, I guess. 12,000 rupiah for drinks that you buy for a small size, and overall a 10 out of 10 shop. Why? Because first of all, it's near my house, so I will be easily efficient place to go. And the other thing is, well, they got Japanese food. I really like them. So that'll be the end of our session for today's video. From all of 5 UMKM we have visited today, in this video there are much to learn about it. So I'll be briefly explaining once more about UMKM. UMKM stands for Usaha Mikro, Kecil, dan Menengah. It's a business that works individually from house or even a small corporation. There are many kinds of UMKM such as restaurants, retail shop, barber shop, and etc. That'll be it for my video about 5 different kinds of UMKM exist around my home. and I hope you'll enjoy the video and it'll make you know more about UMKM since it's all around you. All you have to do is find it and look for it and even explore it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Zachary Alfajri Kurniawan, signing off.